This is the conservative czar. We talked today about the Obama-Clinton foreign policy and really try to discuss it in the terms of what happened in Libya. Not the killing of the ambassador, but what happened before. What was the Obama-Clinton foreign policy in Libya that is so disastrous? And it was repeated, especially in Egypt, and now being repeated in Syria and other places. Um, in Libya, before this all broke, the so-called Arab Spring that has now become the Arab Winter. Before the Arab Spring broke, Libya was ruled by a dictator, a pretty tough guy, Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi, although Gaddafi was, as the term I've been using, a castrated ex-Islamist dictator. He really had not exercised terrorist activities for 20 years. He had been neutralized. He was not a player. Now, don't get me wrong. Gaddafi's a bad guy. If he could kill everybody in the United States, I think he would. But he was not actively trying to. He kind of was in retirement. And in the face of that, there was a small revolution that started in Libya against him in 2010 and early 2011. This is small. Gaddafi had been through these before. Gaddafi had this happen to him several times. He puts them down with brutality, and that's how he stays. That's how most dictators stay in power. He had done that. But in this particular case, the small revolution, what the Obama-Clinton foreign policy was that we were going to intervene and we are going to support the small revolution. And we're going to support it with money, aid, probably some boots on the ground. And we were going to inflame this revolution. And it became inflamed with the support of the United States, tacit and small support. As it started to grow, Gaddafi decided, as he always does, as what could be expected him to do. In other words, it was no surprise to Obama Clinton that Gaddafi was going to put this down hard. That's what he is. He's a dictator, a thug who will put down these rebellions. He's done it before. So there was absolutely no surprise that that was going to happen. What was the difference? And it was a real change in American foreign policy, was the idea that as this thing grew, the United States, Obama-Clinton foreign policy, decided that they were going to actively intervene with military force to support the revolution and to bring down Gaddafi. This was a conscious decision, and the end result of this was going to be Gaddafi's gone and the insurgency would be in power. As soon as we decided to use military force like we did, that was a foregone conclusion. Obama, Clinton foreign policy, this was the plan. This is what they knew was going to happen. And then this is where everything goes awry, because they had no idea nobody, the insurgents didn't know who the insurgency was. They did know that the fighters on the ground were primarily Islamists, extremists. They're the ones that do the fighting out here. We knew they were heavily involved in this insurgency. The point here is Obama-Clinton must not have cared what the end result was going to be. They didn't care. And so when the Gaddafi, a castrated ex-dictator, is taken down, he is replaced by an unknown with a characteristic within it of Islamic extremism. The fundamental problem, and that is the Obama-Clinton foreign policy is based on the premise that Islamist extremists are a small minority of especially the Arab Muslim world. I disagree with that. I think I'm willing to go along that they're a minority, but they're a very substantial minority. And what I believe, and Obama Clinton doesn't believe this, but what I believe and others believe, there is a strong minority that are active Islamist extremists and support terror. But I believe a majority of Arab Muslims support the Islamist terrorists in their votes and in their actions. And it's a majority. Now, there's a minority that does not support the Islamist extremists, but and a very big minority. But I believe, and was evident, is being evidenced in Libya, Tunisia, Egypt, when they are able to express themselves, they express themselves in the way I've described it. A majority are in favor of the Islamists. In Libya, what is in Libya today is chaos. And we are going to have a bloody civil war in Libya. The handwriting is on the wall. We know we're going to have this civil war. There's going to be extreme violence in this country. And this is because the Obama-Clinton foreign policy supported the overthrow of Gaddafi and didn't care what came afterwards. And what comes afterwards is disastrous. It's disastrous for the United States' self-interest. It's disastrous for the Libyan people. We're going to have a civil war where hundreds of thousands of them are going to die. This is going to be brutal for the Libyans. And we put them there. You know, Gaddafi's a bad guy, but chaos can be a lot worse. And that is exactly what we have in Libya. Now, to the events of the other day. Coordinated attack by Islamist extremist terrorists against the embassy. And here is the problem that we have in Libya today. And that is, there is no government that has rule over the country. It is ruled by tribes in various parts of the country, by warlords. The central, to call them a central government is stretching it, but they can't even mount a defense of the embassy. They probably would have liked to defend the leaders of the government, which have no power. They probably wanted to intervene, but they couldn't. There's no power. This is a country in chaos, anarchy, and preparing for a civil war. And this is the consequence of the Obama-Clinton foreign policy in Libya. Now, I know Obama's thinking was that he can sweet talk him. That he, after all, as I said before, his name is Barack Hussein Obama, and he didn't care that there was chaos because he could talk to them directly, convince them of the errors of their ways, and things would change. It was a foolhardy idea. The Libyan fiasco from the beginning is the cause for the death of the ambassador. And I'll go through it rather simple. The United States government decides to defeat a dictator. Chaos ensues. There's no central government to protect the embassy. The mobs attack the embassy and kill our ambassador. That killing of the ambassador is a direct consequence of the Obama-Clinton foreign policy, and why this is an unmitigated disaster for the Obama-Clinton foreign policy. This is the Conservative Czar. See you next time.